Happy Thursday!
Yay, it's Thursday!
Oh my goodness, it's been such a busy time of year, hasn't it, Heather?
Yes, it has. It's like we're kind of sick in a way. I think we live for this a little bit, all of us in the industry, right?
Well, I know that I do. I get excited because I get excited thinking about what it's going to be like after it's done and still going through that process. If we get hung up on the every day to day, it might be a bit overwhelming, but this is the year of change and lots of things are happening.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really excited today to talk a little bit more about something important to us.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today, Heather?
So today we are going to talk about sustainable solutions. And I did want to remind everyone we call this Live and Unfiltered for a reason. We definitely are live and unfiltered. Being a geriatric millennial, I'm not as into, the Snapchat and all of those things. But from recent conversations, I realized how many people out there are using filters to make themselves look better. And we don't record this 10 times and give you the best one, look like we got it all together, because the reality of it is sometimes it's nice just to be raw and live, right? So that's exactly why we do it like this. We are live and unscripted. So as we mentioned, we're really excited to talk today about sustainable solutions. And I think this is definitely something that is a differentiator for the business and the way we've set things up. So it's definitely worth talking about a little more than just us saying it all the time.
Yes, I 100% agree. Heather, I think our whole company was created with the foundation of creating things that are going to be sustainable. Now, in this industry, how easy is it to want to go and, get a new client, grab all the commissions and run?
Pretty easy
for that.
Well, and that's something that's fairly unique in our space, in the sense that you can even get upfront, that you can even get heaped upfront commissions, right? Because a lot of our brokers that are doing the medical and all of that, they're used to, that's what you get. You get levelized commissions, the same every year, at first year, second year, third year. And in our space, you can take the majority of those commissions up front the first year and have that decision. And it's tempting when you're looking at, okay, things are a little volatile. We don't always know what year 2 is going to look like, right? They might get bought out by another company. They might, have a change of mind. So it's tempting sometimes to front load it and feel like you want to capture all you can right there. But we also know what that leads to and what that means for everyone in the situation, right?
Absolutely. So what we notice, and carriers are having a hard time with this. I think we talked about this in the past, or at least touched on it, because carriers they want to reward new business, especially the direct carriers. They reward that new business, and it's all front loaded. It's bonused. There's all these incentives to drive new business, do lines, and sometimes, unfortunately, oversell or bring everything in the first year, or unfortunately, as Eric Silverman would say, do that commission grab where they come in and write everything and then run, because they've already got all that commission. And I don't think carriers are going to continue to do that forever. I think that there has to be a change, and commission is only a small piece of it. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole on this, but I still believe that there's going to be a lot more level commissions down the road, and a lot less incentive on that first year, but maybe the renewal or the rolling out a longer term strategy, which maybe I'll have you talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
But we just have to be careful. And the other piece to it, I think, that's creating these challenges with the commissions is commission sales reps, especially benefit counselors, which, I'm not a huge fan in most cases of the commission benefit reps, because if there's the service and the sales, and if they're not tied together, there's a disconnect, and we get that commission grab again.
Well, and I think that's really the key, right? That end sentence you just said, if they're not tied together with the front sale and servicing the business, that's when you have an issue, right? I'm sure some would argue commission could drive behavior if it's given in the right way, because they want to continue to sustain that client and keep that commission coming in. But if it's not tied to the servicing and they get everything they need up front, you know, I mean, you hope that they have a service mind and you want to continue to do business, but it's real easy, like you said, to just take it up front and run. And I know, you know, sometimes people even get burned doing it the wrong way, but you really have to look at what are you looking to create in the partnership, right, in our agency. And we're willing to take some of those risks sometimes for the longevity of the business and to show that we're doing what's in the best interest. At least that's what I've seen in the last couple of years of us doing business, right, Jack?
Yes. And thank you, Heather. And sometimes it's hard, but we have to look at the long term and not just today. And I thank you to our carrier partners that are out there that are amazing, that have really helped us figure out mixed solutions to where it can help us, you know, pay our first year expenses and some of our heavy expenses, but still create some of that longer term really revenue, I should say. So maybe we don't take as much first year, but we take a little bit more of the level commissions to align with major medical, or we look at different ways to engage as well. But again, thank you to the carriers that are looking for ways to support the longevity and not just the first year. We don't want that client for just 1 year and then flip business. Now coming back into, so that's the only part of it is the commissions and how it's sold. But the other part of it really comes down to the longer term strategy, the product placement, the not just for today, but for the future, how many products we put out there and several things like that. So can you talk a little bit about that, Heather?
Yeah, it's funny. I just had something pop in my head I had forgotten about a little bit, but I remember talking to another carrier rep a couple of years ago at the time when I was working solely with one, and they were asked, like, what is your strategy coming in? And the person kind of laughed and said, like, well, there's no strategy here. Like, we have a couple products, right? And we're going to offer them. And so in, again, kind of creating this model, that's not the case. We can have strategy now, right? We can look out a couple of years and see what's the best fit for the client. And the majority of the time, that's not offering 5 products, even though that's tempting. And we think, well, oh my gosh, this one person might need this hospital plan. You know, if that's not in alignment with the benefit package or the demographic, right, or what the employees are asking for, then you're not going to get the participation. You're going to get analysis paralysis, and you're not going to have anything new to offer the next year. So we are very intentional looking at the specific client, and we like to create 2 to 3 year strategies to show, okay, here's our recommendations. Of course, they're not always taken, but our recommendation would be typically to introduce the most pertinent products with that client and their benefit package the first year. Maybe that looks like 2 products. And then the next year, look at the 3rd product rollout that might be happening. And maybe even into the 3rd year, look at another product or a lifestyle benefit. And I feel that shows that we're not trying to come in and just offer everything. I'd like to think it creates
but sometimes brokers and clients want to offer everything, right?
That's true, right?
And why?
Well, again, I think they just feel like, well, we're offering choice. We want to give them as many choices as they can. You know, we know this person's a little different than this person. But there also comes a point of having some experience and kind of recommendation for what we know tends to be best. But that is sometimes.
Employees have analysis paralysis. There's a lot more moving pieces. There's more that could go wrong. There's a lot of things that compound. Now, in a perfect world, yeah, we'd love to offer everything, but at the same time, it's just too much, right? The in and out model works really well for a reason.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of what's that? The Cheesecake Factory that you also love. It's to me, it's just overwhelming. I think you get books of choice. I want a few things. Tell me the recommendations, and as I go there more, maybe we offer more choice or something like that. But we can't do it all at once. It's just too much.
Right. And so we give those recommendations. Sometimes they're taken, sometimes they're not. And sometimes it changes the next year. We might look at it this way, and then all of a sudden they come in, you know, we're going to introduce CI year 2, and they come in with a major medical change. moving out of pocket, hey, you know what? Looks like maybe we should do a hospital plan as well. So it's a proposed plan. It's flexible. But I think the other component to that sometimes gets overlooked is not just product, right? But the engagement strategy. And those that partner with us or have listened to us for a while know that we're two-pronged, right? One is the product placement, but really what I feel is the biggest value right now is the employee engagement side of things and the education and all of that we're fulfilling on. And I think just some feedback I've heard from introducing this model to different people, some of the hesitation comes in, well, what does that year 2 or 3 look like if we're so heavy the first year in getting it off the ground, right? And unfortunately, I think some people have had bad taste in their mouth, because if you do come in and you grab all those commissions and you put all those resources in, and then year 2, sometimes they're coming back wanting that same service, and that person's service provider is like, we can't do this. There's no commission here. We're going to have to charge you a fee, or you're going to have to tell the client we can't do this anymore, right?
Oh my gosh, Heather, we had, so back in my Aflac days, I did work with a company that decided to pull out, or they were an enrollment company, and actually a very good company, probably not the best client for them, but they pulled out at open enrollment.
Oh, yes.
We talked to them and had them stay, but they pulled out right after, and we got stuck with everything, and we actually didn't get paid anything on it. So it became problematic. We lost lots of money on it, but the client experience was so bad, unfortunately. It put a bad taste in not only the client's mouth, but the broker that we worked with their mouth, put a bad taste in their mouth as well.
Right.
And it was a challenge because it wasn't a sustainable solution. It was in the moment, it looked good. They might have saw some high dollar signs or whatever it might be, but they didn't have an ongoing strategy when they had started, which caused many challenges. And it's also why I think that company actually made big changes, if they're still around, of course. And then we made changes as we started our business, and as we learned, of course, we created more and more sustainable strategies. But we always go and start with a client, and we think about the longer term ramifications. What's going to happen year 2, year 3? How are we going to fund this? What's it going to look like for the employees? What happens if they change enrollment platforms next year or the year after? Especially growing companies, they might be on a simple platform like Ease, which is very easy to build on. But what if they're moving to an ADP or a Paychex or a true HRS system? And we know that in the back of our mind, that's a possibility. Or even if it's not, are we picking the right carriers that are going to work on those platforms long term? And the engagement strategy and everything working together.
Right. Yeah.
We get fired up about this.
I know. Well, it's exciting for us because this is so unique, right? Everyone listening, I mean, think about it, right? You have upfront commissions. You're getting incentivized to take them all up front. You know, you can make a bunch of money right now. You don't have to look out. Like, you can make it look good first enrollment, and we'll deal with it second year. And that's just not what we wanted to create. We wanted our partners to feel comfortable bringing us in and knowing we're going to be there year 2, year 3. We're thinking ahead on a long-term client. And we hope that's well received by our partners, or potential partners, because if we can't run the business that way, then we'll actually be out of business. We've taken a gamble in a way to say we want to do this the right way and be sustainable. And we want to find partners that align with us there. I know we've actually talked to some that don't, and we've turned that business down. Right?
We turned away a 500 life case because of it.
Because the person actually said that the plan was to flip it the next year. Right?
I get goosebumps. Well, nobody wins if you go in knowing that that's going to happen. Now, things happen.
Sure.
You might have to change carriers down the road, but if you're going in with a mindset that you're going to change, and he told me just for commissions, that's bad. Run away. Nobody wins. When it's sustainable, yes, it's not as big. It's not as sexy when you create this longer term, almost slow strategy, I should say, versus the get it quick and run. But hopefully you'll have many clients for many years to come. If you're thinking about that. So
yep. And if you're working with someone in a partnership model and not the vendorship, you're going to be able to have those open conversations. I mean, I guess one of the other things I want to mention is, we're not over here on our high horse saying like we take everything levelized no matter what, right? We learned that there are some cases we put a little more resources in. We might take upfront commissions, but I think having a partnership model to have those conversations with our broker partners, instead of it always being one way or, coming in as a vendor, is again what separates us with our VBO model versus just being a vendor or an enrollment firm or just a quoting system. So that's something we wanted to spend a little more time with all of you on today. So thank you for those who are here taking the time to learn a little more about what we think is sustainable solutions. Hopefully that's in alignment with what others out there are thinking as well.
Or if you ever want to debate it, give us a call.
That's true.
We like healthy debate, especially if there's some constructive criticism. Just emotional doesn't work as well, but the real, let's look at the data. Let's look at what this could really look like. It's fun. And I think it brings growth. So we appreciate you all. We love you all. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you next month.
All right. Bye.
Bye.